I'm not gonna say what this sign says, you can just read it. But this started last year. I'm gonna go over the days. So the first one was June 14th, 2025. It was a Shabbat. And it was somebody's birthday. The second one was October 18th, 2025. It was a Shabbat. It was Sweetest Day. The third one was March 28th, 2026. It was a Shabbat, but it was the Great Shabbat, the Shabbat before Passover, which commemorates the great miracle that happened in Egypt. And it's talking about the Passover lamb, the mark of the Passover lamb, and it was a war on firstborns. And really, ultimately, it was about priesthood. The fourth that happened was this year on June 14th, 2026. It was not on a Shabbat, which was interesting. But this happened on the 29th of Sivan, which is the same day in history where the spies were sent out by Moses. And the spies came back, and what happened? They were all saying that there was giants in the land, right? These things are important to keep note. Okay, I wrote down that the Guardian news, and the Guardian is a keyword that took place on May 28th of 2026, and this person, his names are important. I always point out key things. This event is set for the 14th of June as he celebrates his birthday with the White House UFC bout. And UFC is Ultimate Fighting Champions. These demonstrations were never initially set by those in protest of a certain person. It was done like in reverse psychology. I'll use that as an example. To bring about something that they wanted brought about, but they used the people to bring it about. So during this event, there was a 92-foot skeletal structure called the claw. And these go back to the giants in the land, the war between good and evil. But I'm gonna talk about what this means. So interestingly enough, months before the first demonstration came about, I was studying Purim and Esther and Haman and all of these things. And in the rabbi's notes, just as a side note, it wasn't even something that he elaborated on, explained much on. It was like a sentence. And he explained that this means, Amalek means, A is no, Melech is king. In Hebrew, Melech is king. And A means no. And those who study end times and prophecy and things like that know that in the end it'll be Edom, and which is from Esau, which is part of Amalek, because Amalek is, by definition, this is in Strong's, Hebrew 6002, that Amalek is a descendant of Esau. And Amalek means dweller in the valley, but he is the grandson of Esau. It's all descendants of Esau. And when we look at in the word, I tried to make this video before, but somehow it got erased or shut down. I'm not going to read these. I read them before. In Exodus 17, it says that God will utterly blot out the remembrance of Amalek. In Numbers 24, Balaam prophesies of Amalek's utter destruction. In Deuteronomy 25, that Amalek's memory is to be blotted out. But Amalek is a demonic spirit of violence that has been manifested throughout history. It's more than that, but basically what this is accomplishing by using the people, by using the people's will and energy, is calling this demonic spirit of violence upon or in this place. I do want to read in Exodus, though, because it gives us the backdrop of who this is. Okay, so Amalek came and fought with Israel at Rephidim. The children of Israel had just come out of Egypt, had just come out of bondage, had come into covenant with God through the Passover lamb covenant, and they were in between Egypt and Sinai when Amalek came. Now, the children of Israel, we know, are the descendants of Jacob. Jacob is Israel. And so when Jacob came out of Egypt, the children of Israel came out of Egypt, Esau, Jacob's brother, attacked them, because that's who Amalek is, the descendants of Esau. They came and fought the children of Israel, or the children of Jacob. I want to read a few things. Now, if first mentions in the Bible, anything that's first mentioned in the Bible, we know that, I'll just read it on notes, if you can see this. We know that at the beginning of a thing, all of the energy of creation comes together to form the thing. From there on, everything is just maintenance. This means that if we can go back to where the word is first used in the Torah, we can see its beginning. We can see the essence of the word by examining the context of its conception or genesis. Since Torah is literally the blueprint for the world, the place where a word is first found in the Torah is where that thing is created. This helps us to understand what Hashem is trying to accomplish in this world. The Talmud offers as the origin of the name of Haman, which is a descendant of Amalek. He was an Amalekite. The verse in Bereshit that refers to Adam's sin, Haman ha'etz hazeh, from this tree, which is in Genesis 3:11. And he said, "Who told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree?" Which is Haman ha'etz hazeh, whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat. So Haman is the tree, eaten of the tree. Haman is found here in the question in Genesis. Haman was conceived in the garden when Adam ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Haman is the gap between ourselves and Hashem. Haman, an Amalekite, descendant of King Agag or Gog, is the epitome of the role of the Amalekites. The Amalekites represent the gap between us and Hashem, and they fulfill their role to do that. But I want to say that the tree of knowledge of good and evil is called the tree of doubt. And the Hebrew word for doubt, Asaphat, and the word Amalek share the same gematria, which is 240, which interestingly enough adds to 6. I'm just going to go over a couple more notes that it's interesting that, people don't realize that, okay, the first one, the demonstration was, it was on his birthday. Well, they think that they're doing it as spite or something against him since it's his birthday, but you don't realize that it's actually producing the reverse effect. It is like in honor of honoring. And the sweetest day, what do you do on sweetest day? You honor somebody that you find is your sweetheart, right? Yeah, I went over the law of first mentions. Everything that is first contained in the Bible is the print of all that is to follow. And then came Amalek and fought with Israel and Rephidim. Amalekite is a vampire-like demon. You can look this stuff up. It's in definitions and in rabbinical writings. But Amalekite is a blood-drinking or lapping vampire. It represents and means darkness and the flourishing of evil and the presence of evil in this world, violence, demonic spirit of violence. That has manifested through history. And so this whole thing is calling, like a chant, this spirit upon this land. And I tried to plead with people, don't do that. I want to go over one more thing. So the Baal Shem Tov teaches that the name, okay, so Amalek, whether you know that Amalek means this or not, it doesn't matter. When you're saying this, you're saying that. Okay, so teaches that the name, the Hebrew name of an object, is the vehicle through which the godly life force inhabits the object. When Adam named all of the animals, he gave them their name based on the nature of the animal. The name of every object's essence is expressed by the Hebrew name of the object. I think I'll just leave it there. I mean, to me, it's just calling this stuff in upon this land. And I know that it has 4 times it's happened now. Anything done 3 times, in Kabbalah, it says that it attaches the spirit realm to this realm, and it's been done 4 times.